Okay, everybody, it is me, Gregory Mannarino. You and I have to talk big time. This is my newest segment of Markets, a look ahead. So yeah, it is Sunday, October 4th, 2020. So what's the story? There are a couple. Number one, I really, actually, it may not be number one, but I think it probably is. This whole thing with President Trump coming down with COVID. And the way it's being played right now is interesting. I want you to pay attention to this because some of this is very stock market positive. Positive. But before we get there, let's set the bigger scene here. So look, this market, regardless of the volatility that we've been seeing as of late, continues its upward trajectory. That's the way it's going. It's easy money, period. That's it. Debt expansion, debt purchases, dollars being flooded around the world to central banks. The Federal Reserve has gone completely insane. Actually, no, they haven't gone insane, have they? This is their goal since forever, to be the lender and buyer of last resort. You all know that here. But look, what it boils down to all of this is how you and I are going to take advantage of it. I mean, that's it. They're going to do whatever they're going to do. And we're going to do what we have to do to stay ahead of this. I cannot stress that enough in this environment, okay? Unless you are literally deaf, dumb, and blind, and that's the general population, we're in an economic meltdown. It's a free fall with there's no escape here by design. There's no saving grace here by design. This is an incredible plan on a worldwide scale to transfer wealth from one group of people to another. Period. Two-tier society in your face. Okay, so let's talk about these markets. And again, the environment here is very simple. It's the gift that keeps on giving. I would like to think that I kind of know what I'm doing here with the market. But look, any moron could make money in this market. That's the truth. It's going up, 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 up. I've been buying calls. Like 70 trades so far since March that I put in my free newsletter, free for you if you want to sign up here. There's a link in the description of this video. Out of like 70 trades, I've had 2 losses. Believe me, I am no rocket scientist. This market keeps going up. Sure, we've gotten volatility. I explained to all of you that's what would happen. But again, if you can't make money in this fake market, then you don't belong in it. Period. The end. That's just the way it's going to go. And it's not going to stop here. So let me outline for you why Greg Mannarino remains a major stock market bull. And I know there's a lot of big YouTube channels right now. In fact, last week I watched a couple of videos from a couple of big YouTube channels that are saying this is it. It's a market top. We're crashing. It's over. Let me explain this to you. They're wrong. Okay, they obviously do not understand the current environment of easy money, which is not going to stop. In fact, it's going to get much, much, much bigger. I've explained to you, and it should make sense. Central banks, none more so than the Federal Reserve, are going to balloon their balance sheets by design, okay? And this mechanism is massively stock market positive, despite the fact that the real economy, which is the middle class, is in free fall. It should make sense to you. These are like, you know what makes me laugh? A lot of these big YouTube channels that are putting out whatever or the garbage they're putting out, basically and they have been leading their followers to the slaughter. Okay, and I've heard from many of them have been, oh, I'm short the market because of this guy. And are these market people, or are these just guys sitting there spewing nonsense out of their mouths? They don't understand the market. So anyone out here listening to some YouTuber that is not a market guy, I am a market guy. I mean, I'm talking about to the highest order. I talk to all the guys that I know of, and there's a lot, who work at the Wall Street banks. Not just that. I mean, this is all I do for a living. This is what I do. I trade the markets. So, and I study them around the clock. So you want to listen to these YouTubers that are telling you it's over right now? Well, good. Do so at your own risk here. But it should make sense to you that with balance sheets of these central banks about to balloon much larger than they are now, stocks are going higher. Okay? Are they going to move around a little bit? Sure. Could we get a 5, 10, 15% sell-off? Well, yeah. We could even get a bigger than that. Does that mean it's over? Absolutely not. What this guy will be doing, I will be buying every single dip possible. You understand? And no matter who wins the election, coming up like in a month, sure, expect volatility, but this market is going up. Okay? Forget about it. Middle class dying. Market up. Nothing is real. This is so twisted. So what I want to do here is set the stage for you for what we're seeing and what we're about to see moving into this week. So I'm going to read to you a couple of brand new headlines. Let me do this. All right. So look, we understand that President Trump is ill, and I sincerely wish the man the best. Okay, we all should be doing that. I don't care what side of the aisle you're on. I don't care how much you hate someone. Okay, that'll only come back to you and make your life more miserable. But when anyone is suffering in any capacity, okay, we all suffer a little bit. Okay, so again, politics aside, wish the president, the first lady, and everyone else who's infected with this thing the best, okay? And keep them in your prayers. That's the truth. So let's move forward here. So this all started, I would have to say, late Friday, yesterday. We keep hearing about particular drug companies, big pharma, and particular drugs that the president is currently on, and he's improving. So I wrote this yesterday here. Understand what you are seeing. Look at the headlines. Trump is doing better on these companies' drugs. Okay. This will indeed boost pharmaceutical stocks, and POTUS is either being used to sell these drugs or he's involved himself. You make your choice on your own here. These drugs in big pharma, they're loving it. And the people will want them, and big pharma will benefit. It's a game. Okay. Now today, again, headline, Trump has been treated with Gilead Sciences remdesivir in addition to Regeneron's neutralizing antibody cocktail. Do you believe that these are going to be positive or negative for these companies and their drugs? Of course, look, this is a ploy to boost big pharma, which will, of course, reflect itself in the stock market. This is a game. That's all it is. What happened to hydrochloroquine? I thought it was supposed to be a miracle. How come we're not hearing about that one? Because it's a very cheap drug. How come we're not hearing about steroids? Well, maybe because they're cheap too. No, they want to sell you. These companies here want to sell you these drugs, and the president said he's feeling better. You got it? You see where this is going? It's all a game, and you're a pawn in it. Now, I want to explain this to you too. Crude oil, as of late, has been getting punished. Had nothing to do with the president's diagnosis on Friday, which crude oil did sell off. But again, crude oil has been selling off from before that. Now, this is Saudi Arabia. Okay, so this is breaking this morning. Saudi Arabia is pegging its budget to oil staying around $50 until 2023. So the translation is very simple. They will do whatever it takes to prop up crude oil, and you can count on it. Does this mean you should be getting long crude oil? I will consider that, okay? And I will let you all know how I feel about it in my newsletter if I decide to trade it. So again, there's another reason for you to sign up for my free newsletter. Link in the description of this video. The bottom line is this. As we all know, crude oil, listen to what I'm telling you here, is it. For the military-industrial complex, it is the lifeblood of the military-industrial complex. Crude oil getting propped up boosts the two largest sectors of this market. Number one, obviously energy benefits. Number two, the financial sector. By getting these two sectors higher, okay, the entire market follows, along with the easy money being shoved into this market, debt expansion, treasury purchases, rates which are going to stay at or near zero for the foreseeable future. Now, what does this mean? If the Federal Reserve is saying, hey, we're going to keep rates at near zero for the foreseeable future, how do they do that? I mean, it's not a miracle. They literally have to create cash out of thin air, buy the debt. That's what they do. So this has a twofold market positive effect. Number one, it dilutes the dollar. Dollar's been under pressure. We all know that. There's talks of digital currencies all over the place. The euro as of late. I mean, it's coming. Okay, it's a method of control. Number two, by the Federal Reserve buying all this debt here, they're buying corporate debt. I mean, they're buying every kind of debt you can think about. This is also a market positive. So going back to the delusional YouTubers trying to call a market top here, anybody, let me explain this to you. Even me, anyone that is trying to call this is a market top, that's it. They're brain dead. It's an impossibility to do. Okay, and again, if you're going to listen to a non-market guy and start betting against this market, you are going to be slaughtered. Okay, do not let these people mislead you. Okay, listen to a market guy, a guy that does nothing but these markets, a guy that studies the Federal Reserve, a guy that studies the markets, has kind of an insider perspective as to what's going on. I mean, I talk to the big banks on Wall Street every single week. Every week I'm on the phone with people that I know that are in the know. All right. And what do? I bring this all to you. And to say the least, the information that I put out for you has been more than accurate. Would you have to agree with me on that? So again, choose who you want to listen to, and then that's it. Okay. With regard to precious metals here, yes, they've been very volatile. They've been under pressure. Okay. Take advantage of this, because what do we know for a fact? I mean, we're not even speculating anymore. We know central banks are going to inflate and vastly inflate. So what do you want to do? You want to be on the opposite side of that trade and hold anti-debt units, period. Gold, more specifically silver, platinum, and palladium, also great investments in my view. And of course, I'm going to go right back to cryptocurrencies, people. I've been telling you to buy Bitcoin since 2,700. What are we at now? 10.5? We hit over 12 several times. Let me explain this to you. The big cryptocurrencies are going up in this environment. They're going up. Period. This should all make sense to you. I hope it does. You don't got to be a rocket scientist to understand the environment we are in, where it's going, what the grand plan is. This is a wealth transfer, like I've explained to you what happened since time immemorial, but we haven't seen anything yet. Again, the last shoe to drop is going to be when this market corrects to fair value. What is fair value? Exponentially lower than it is right now. I mean, it should be obvious to you. The stock market is in a hyper bubble on the back of the monster Frankenstein bubble of all time, and that is the debt bubble. We are in a debt crisis again, people. We've never gotten out of a debt crisis. The 2008 credit crisis, look how they word it. It was a credit crisis. Is that kind of like a credit card? Does your credit card, if you have one, I hope you don't, because I don't, does your credit card give you credit, or does it cause you to become more indebted? You understand, they twist the language. It wasn't a credit crisis, it's a debt crisis. How did they try to fix the debt crisis? By adding more debt to it like we have never seen. The current debt bubble, or the debt environment we are in today, eclipses the last one by exponents. Exponents. Everything is in a bubble on the back of this. Okay, it's debt that's supporting this entire thing, and more is coming down the pike to keep it inflated, to foster the end game. Again, for the Fed to be the lender, buyer of last resort, owner of it all. But the big grand finale, the grand finale of all time, is going to be when the stock market attempts to do its one and only job, and that is to correct to fair value. You understand? The debt market is supporting the stock market right now because it's being propped up by debt issuance, debt acquisition like we have never seen. You understand? Very simple. At one time, all this, by design, is going to correct to fair value, and the stock market is going to melt down by design. Wall Street banks, the traders, the Wall Streeters are going to short this market. Me being one of the first guys who will be on the right side of the equation. All of my lions, I am taking every single one of you with me, okay? I will tell you what I'm doing when I'm ready to get short this market. And all that cash that's been piled into the stock market, 401ks and the like, that only make money when the stock market goes up, is going to be legally transferred from the masses' reality to ours. And we will have realized gains here. You understand what you're looking at here? When people sit there and they look at their 401k plans or investments that only make money when stocks go up, it's not real. It's not realized. Okay, you can sit there. You might say, hey, look at my big fat 401k plan. I got $1.5 million in here. I'm doing great. I'm a millionaire. I'm rich. You are nothing. You are zero. You got nothing until it becomes realized. All you're looking at is digits on the screen that don't exist. It's not real until you sell the assets. You understand? They're not liquid. Most people are locked into these 401k plans. They're locked into an investment that they can't get out of, that only makes money when stocks go up by design. So when this whole thing crashes and melts down, for which it will at one particular time, well, that wealth is just going to be transferred to someone else's reality. Okay? And then what are we going to do? We're going to dump that stuff and get on the other side of the equation as well, which will be, again, there's going to be a move here into hard assets, into commodities like you cannot believe. We are going to forget about what Saudi Arabia just said with regard to $50 crude oil. Crude oil is going to shoot up so high at one particular point, along with all of the other commodities as well that are priced in dollars. You have to understand how this is going to work. Okay, right now the environment is clearly risk on, which means stocks are going up, equities, boom, 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 boom. At one particular time, this is going to turn to risk off. It's always a cycle. Okay, risk on, risk off, risk on, risk off. That's how the markets work. For the most part, markets run in cycles. Okay, and these cycles are not random. They can be more or less zeroed in on with a high degree of accuracy. Okay, like I said, I'm not any rocket scientist. I'm just taking advantage of this fake market. I understand how market cycles work, and I'm keeping all of you on the right side of it. You understand? That's what I'm going to do. That's been my goal since forever, okay? To not allow you or myself to be fleeced. So if I'm sitting here and I'm not allowing myself to be fleeced, I'm not going to allow it to happen to you. You will never lose on my watch. I promise you. I work very hard at this to bring all of you the cutting edge information, and I try to explain this to you in a way that is simple to understand, because it is. Again, there's no mystery here. We know the end game. We know how it's going to play out. We see the market cycles. We understand what's going on. Do you have any idea, honestly, of the power that gives you and I? It's incredible, and it makes us literally invincible in this market. They're going to play their game. We will play ours. I guarantee you. Look, this video is pretty long, and I can sit here probably for hours and go on, but I got a kind of a busy day. So look, I'm going to get out of here. I personally think this particular markets to look ahead segment has been exceedingly important. I'm going to ask you to share it as far and wide as you possibly can. Get people to understand what they're seeing, what's going on here, the sales pitch that's going on right now with regard to big pharma, their drugs. Buy these drugs. These drugs are good. They're going to help you. Forget about hydrochloroquine. Nah, it's real cheap. Let's not use that one. Let's not use steroids either. Let's use these really high-powered, very expensive drugs that these companies want to sell you. What better salesperson do they have than the President of the United States saying, I feel great. Feeling good now. Look, expect more of this to be floated out pre-market. They want to push stocks higher. I think you all know that. I better shut up because I keep going on. All right, look, this guy here, I sincerely love all of you. Please, let's do this together, all right? Let's come together. Let's get more people on the right side. Share this video on every single one of your social networks. Get it out there, all right? Copy, paste links, post. It's up to us to make a difference, people. I am trying my best to make a difference. That's all that matters to me. The money and all that stuff, it doesn't, I don't even need any more money than I have. I'm going to be honest with you. Okay, I don't need it. But I'm telling you right now, what's more important is you and I coming together, getting the word out. Let people become aware of what is going on, all right? So we can all win, because this thing that we are in right now, do I need to say it? It's freaking hideous, and it's all by design. I'm out of here. Love you a lot. See you in the morning.